MAP4C 1.0 Trigonometry. Trigonometry is three-sided measure. And what we're going to do is start off with Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem can be used to solve for a missing side length in a right triangle when one of the three sides is missing. So we refer to the side that is opposite the right angle as the hypotenuse. It's the longest side length, but it's most easily recognized by the position opposite the right angle. Next, each side is referred to as a leg, and we can use the following equation, a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, in order to solve for the length that is missing if we know 2 out of the total 3 in a right triangle. So, let's begin with our first case. Find the length of each unknown side. In this example, the hypotenuse is missing. We can see this because it's opposite the 90-degree angle. So we can use the formula a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, but we must have the unknown value as c. So we'll call this length here c. So the two legs are 15 squared and 8 squared is equal to c. In this next line, we evaluate the exponent. So 15 squared is 225. 8 squared is 64. You can check on a calculator. In the next line, we combine these two terms using addition to get 289 is equal to c squared. We'll perform the opposite operation of squaring, which is the square root to each side. We'll have c on the right-hand side, but the square root of 289 using a calculator is 17. So that's our length for c, and we can interpret this as 17.0 units because values are not specified for the units of length. Our next example involves a right triangle, but the difference between the second example and the first is that a leg is missing this time, and therefore we have to substitute into our formula accordingly. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. We have an unknown length or leg, so we'll make sure that we're using either a or b, and that c must always be the hypotenuse in this case, which is 20. So substituting into our formula, we end up with this form of the equation. Using opposite operations, we have x squared that we're trying to get by itself. We'll get rid of the term 12 squared by subtracting 12 squared from each side. And then in the next line, what we have is the exponent evaluated for 20 squared, which is 400, and 12 squared, which is 144. In the next line, we take the difference using subtraction. And then when we get to the stage, x squared is equal to 256, we take the square root of each side to get 16 using a calculator. So those are the two forms of Pythagorean theorem that you should be capable of solving. Let's take a look at converting units. The metric system of measurement is used all around the world with the exception of the United States. The relationship between the different units are powers of 10. They have Latin prefixes which help us across various types of measurement. So we can be measuring lengths, we could be measuring volume, as well as we could be measuring weight. These prefixes will remain the same. In this case, we're talking about lengths, so meters are the basic or standard unit for the metric system. That being said, if we are converting, we can think of moving the decimal to the left or to the right because they are powers of 10. So, let's do some examples involving metric units. Write each pair of measures using the same unit, 54 centimeters and 3.8 meters. If 1 meter is 100 centimeters, then 54 centimeters is equal to 0.54 meters. So let's investigate how this table helps us, or this chart helps us convert between centimeters and meters. So if we have centimeters located here, and we are moving to meters, we move 2 spaces to the left. So similarly, with this centimeter unit that we're converting, move that decimal 2 units to the left. So the answer is 0.54. This is the same as dividing by 100. Next, in the imperial measurement system, conversions are more challenging because they are different. They're not powers of 10. So you'll be provided with the conversions between each, but let's try an example. 1 foot is 12 inches, 3 feet is 1 yard, 1 mile is 1,760 yards, and 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So 22 inches and 12 feet 4 inches. We're trying to compare these using the same units so that we can see which one is longer. If 1 foot is 12 inches, then 22 inches is 1 foot and 10 inches. Remember that if a foot is 12 inches, we can skip count using 12, so 12, 24, 36, so on, until we exceed the value. A chart can be drawn in order to make this conversion. But I know that 12, 24, I know that it's less than 2 feet, so what I can do is subtract 12 inches from this amount, and that will tell me the remaining number of inches that I need to get to our total. So 12 plus 10 is equal to 22, and we've successfully converted. Remember that you can always check your answer at the end by undoing this operation, converting feet to inches, adding them all together, and it should work out.